unboxing time. This is long overdue, at least for me. Let's get into it. Today, I'm unboxing the studio display. This has actually been out for a while, but I wanted to do a kind of an unboxing slash review slash I've had it for a month and a half now. But this is my second studio display, and I've seen a bunch of reviews about this thing. Most people are saying it's too expensive, which I don't really argue with, but my take is specifically of a content creator, creative director, editor that like heavily exists in the Apple ecosystem. So let's get into a quick little unboxing. I'm sure you've seen a million of these, but oh, that's always satisfying. All right. Oh, I don't remember which way this opens, so let's hope I don't break anything. Okay, is it upside down? It's fully upside down. Okay. So I'm supposed to open the box upside down? Or maybe I'm supposed to open it this way. I don't remember. You would think I would have remembered. I did this like a month and a half ago. One thing that is cool is that these little flappy things open. This is gonna be terrible. Let me just open this as if I have some common sense. The Apple Studio display in all of its glory. I pre-ordered this guy on Apple's website and it took forever to come in. I happened to be at Best Buy one day getting some gear or getting something, and I went over to the Apple little section that they have. Long story short, somebody ordered it through Best Buy, ordered a couple, returned one, and so they had one that was open box for like $400, maybe $300 less than retail. So I was like, of course I'm gonna get this. It's like a brand new monitor. I'm gonna try out this like dual monitor setup and see if it's like effective enough or saves me enough time for it to be worth having two of these displays. I was honestly contemplating getting one of the Pro Display XDRs, which is crazy because those things are like a bajillion dollars. Why am I like lounging on the floor? This is weird. But I just, one, couldn't justify the cost, even getting a used one, super expensive. And two, I would rather have more screen real estate. So you can get 3 of these for the price of one Pro Display XDR. And there, oh, she kind of is. On the back of this, I'm assuming it's the power cable. It is permanently attached. People were like nitpicking this monitor, and I get it. For the price that it is, you should nitpick it. But they were saying like the cable isn't removable. Well, it is removable, but you need a special tool that Apple had to develop to remove it. That's not something that I'll ever, hope, knock on wood, will ever have to worry about. I mean, I don't travel with this monitor, so having the cable like come out doesn't really help me in any capacity. I ruined it. I dropped a bag over there, sorry. So I'm gonna move this over to my desk and set up my dual monitor setup and go over some of the pros and cons and what I think about this monitor. All right, so I have a little cheat sheet here of my pros and cons. I already said that it's a 5K monitor, which is dope because it gives you a little bit of extra screen real estate in a 4K timeline. But another update that they did, this is basically an iMac, like the 5K iMac that they had before. They basically just popped that screen off. But one thing that they did update is the brightness. It has 100 more nits of brightness at 600 as opposed to 500 on the iMac, which makes it a little bit better to view with like lights. Doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it's cool that they added that to it. Another thing that's like super nitpicky is a lot of the monitors that are out there, at least the ones that I use or that I've used, have this like matte texture to it, which is great for fingerprints or like reducing some of these glares. But one thing that I like about the glossy monitors is that you get like deeper blacks, which also kind of goes to one of my cons. I wish it was mini LED to match my MacBook Pro here, but it's just LED. But the glossy texture kind of, it doesn't fully get me there, but it helps in comparison to a lot of the LG monitors and Samsung monitors out there that I've used that tend to have like a matte finish to them. A lot of people have been comparing this monitor to like the LG Ultrafine or different third-party monitors out there. And the reason they're comparing it specifically to the LG monitor is Apple was selling that in their Apple Store prior to unveiling this monitor here. And Apple worked closely with LG in helping them integrate that monitor with the Apple ecosystem. All that to say, people have been having problems with that monitor for years, with connectivity problems. Sometimes it would take minutes and minutes to boot up or to turn on when you'd plug it in. And that was the closest to an Apple monitor that you could buy. There used to be the Thunderbolt display monitors, and I think it was called like the Cinema display or something like that. But we didn't have an Apple standalone monitor. And I remember when I bought the MacBook Pro, that was the one thing that I was like, this would fully complete my desk setup, would be having a monitor that was made by Apple, that was made for Apple products, that was made to work easily and seamlessly with Apple products, which is for me the biggest pro for this monitor. It might be expensive, it might be overly engineered, which a lot of people are saying, with the aluminum build, when most of them are like plastic or primarily plastic build. But what they did well was integrate it with the Apple ecosystem. I have the Apple Watch, the phone, the tablet, the laptop, the Apple TV. I'm deep in the Apple ecosystem. And Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, made a video about how the deeper you get into an ecosystem, the harder it is to get out. And I'm like so deep into it that I'm not even trying to get out. What I'm trying to do is find products that work well together with what I already have. So that's what I've found with this Studio Display, is that it works seamlessly with my laptop. That was like the main box that I needed to check. There are other boxes, like how cool it looks. The display is sleek. It looks good in my office. Different things like the color. Out of box, the color matches really well with my MacBook Pro. Obviously, like I said before, it's not mini LED, so it doesn't match perfectly. The blacks are a little bit deeper on my MacBook Pro than they are on the monitor, but it's as close as I need it to be. I'm not like a professional colorist, so I don't need the like little color calibrator thing. Obviously, that would help, but out of box, it gets as close as I need it to be as far as color accuracy. And that's one thing that with the monitor that I had before, I had a Samsung monitor and it worked well, but I never was able to fully calibrate it to match my laptop, and it was always kind of I'd preview it on the monitor, then drag it down to it was just this whole thing. So now that I have a monitor that I can look at and trust, it just makes my workflow that much faster. All right, now I gotta bring this in and figure out if it's even gonna fit on my desk, because I kind of gotta shift stuff around. Okay, so I'm for sure gonna have to get rid of these monitors and probably get stands for the outside because it's not fitting. I don't know if they're supposed to be like angled in or how they're supposed to be like, because then I'd be like almost permanently viewing them off axis. That looks ridiculous. But like good ridiculous, right? Good ridiculous. So one thing that I'm about to test right now is if I can daisy chain the monitors. From the research I've done, you can't, but I just wanted to kind of try it for myself. Worst case scenario, I just have to plug them in separately into my MacBook Pro, which isn't the end of the world. One cool thing about these monitors is they have 3 additional Thunderbolt ports where I can plug in all my peripherals, so I don't have to like keep attaching them to the laptop and doing all of that. Like as soon as I plug that 1 or now 2 ports or plugs into my MacBook, I should have all the peripherals that I need. That's a whole lot of screen. Oh my God. One like overkill thing that they did with the design is since they made it all aluminum, it's a lot more sturdy and like heavy, which is like a huge pro for me. The monitor that I used to edit on, it's over there, that's why I'm pointing that way, the base was like super wobbly that I had to go get a Visa mount with the little arm, because every time I'd like type anything, like the table would move just a little bit and the whole giant was like wobbling. So having these like super overly engineered monitors actually helps for me to be able to like not have to get nauseous from my monitor wiggling all over the place. In typical Apple fashion, they made things that nobody really cares about like extremely good. For example, the speakers on these monitors are like actually really good. People have been saying that they're good. I like have those monitors that you saw I just moved off. They're the HS5s from Yamaha. I've been using those for like since college, so for probably 5 or 6 years now. And I love those monitors. I'm having like grounding issues here, so there's like a weird like static. So I haven't been using those monitors, but I've been using my Studio Display monitors for like editing, or if I don't want to use headphones. And like I sometimes forget that I'm not using my HS5s, which sounds crazy because they're studio monitors, but this will like actually fill a room. I wonder if like I'll be able to play music from both of them simultaneously, because that could be really cool. But yeah, the speakers sound really good. For a monitor to have that much bass in them, like you're never expecting them to have that much bass. So it's dope that like in a pinch, if you really need to use them, you can, which leads me to one of the things that they under-engineered as far as I'm concerned. These webcams are like actually useless. One thing that I didn't realize is iPhone's selfie camera is like miles above all of the other Apple products. Then maybe like iPad is somewhere in there, but the MacBook Pros is like usable. And then this is like I wouldn't use this for anything. It's like almost useless. They came out with a presser saying that they were going to update it with firmware or some software, whatever the case is. I don't know why they shipped it with such a bad kit. I honestly would have preferred the monitor to be like, I don't know, $100, $200 cheaper, or hot take, have an adjustable stand that I don't have to pay $400 for, and not have a webcam in it. I can get a cheap 4K webcam from Best Buy or something if I really wanted to have one. In 2022, making a monitor this expensive with that bad of a webcam, I agree with all the other reviews. It doesn't make sense. That's definitely like mind-boggling, but I don't really use it, so it doesn't affect me that much. I touched on it before, but like these look good. These monitors look really good. And I know that that's like just an aesthetic thing, but it's important that you like where you work, what you look at all day, for you to like enjoy it to a certain extent. For the color accuracy and all of those things are super important, but like just looking, I'm like a gearhead. So like when something looks cool and is cool, that adds extra points. But like every other monitor that's not like an Apple monitor looks just like the same. Some companies are trying to, I know BenQ has this new monitor that looks cool, but most monitors like just look lame. So I think having a monitor that looks cool to me is a bonus point that most people won't give it, but I appreciate the design of it. I'm just gonna talk about it again. That $400 adjustable stand is crazy. That's Apple makes you pay for their extra dongles and their this and their that. And they always make the price like a little bit more than you would want to pay for it, but you have to, because it's like we don't have a headphone port, so you need that little dongle. Things like $9. But making a height adjustable stand extra, period, making that not come standard is already kind of crazy. But then to make it $400 is like that almost was offensive to me, where I was like, I would rather go out and buy a like height adjustable desk, which I should do anyways. I know that's not going to fully solve the problem, but I'd rather do that and like spend $1,000 or however much it costs than to spend $400 on a monitor to adjust the height. Maybe like $150, $200, like I can almost justify, but $400 for a height adjustable stand is crazy. So after tax for me, it was $1,660, which is a lot of money for a monitor. I have been editing on my laptop with my monitor on the side, but like having to bounce around has been a little bit clunky, but way better than just working on a laptop. But I think now, which I'll try for the next couple of weeks since I have some projects to be editing, to have this dual screen, to see how it works, to see if I like it, to see if it's worth it. I am super down for returning one of these monitors. I know for a fact I don't need two. The question is, does a dual monitor setup make enough of a difference to justify $1,600? Does it save that much time? Does it make me that much more efficient with my work? And does it get me home to my kids and my wife that much faster? I said it before with the laptop, which has been phenomenal. I want to make like a update video. A bunch of people have been making their update videos. It has exceeded my expectation for what a laptop can do. I haven't seen that little rainbow wheel of death literally at all since owning this laptop. Knock on every wooden surface that I have in here. I normally would proxy anything that I'm working on. I've shot with Arri. I've worked on a project with Arri, with Red, with basically with Sony cameras, every codec possible, and haven't had to proxy a single file just because of the media encoder and all of those things that it has built in the media engine built into it. Not even having the proxy files, plug in the SD card and just like fly, has been like invaluable and has saved countless hours of editing and of proxying and rendering and all of that stuff. I can't rave about this laptop enough, to be honest. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'll kind of give my update as I go for the next couple of weeks with this dual monitor setup. But yeah, that's it. For more videos, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'm really enjoying this YouTube community and can't wait to put out more videos. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.